What's going on, everyone? Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of VBA Live. This is episode 5. I will once again joined by my co-host, Prospect. How you doing tonight, man?
Doing good, doing well. Starting off the week a little better than last week, so that is good.
Nice. Always good. Always good. How? Speaking of that, how was last week? Were you in paid? Were you not in
Last week,
paid? How? And what
yeah,
shifted into this week?
last week was like atrocious. It was one of those weeks where I was like, "Cool, I'm never gonna play this game ever again." I think I finished. I did cash league last week because the week before that I was real hot. I was like 12-2 the week before that, and then last week I was 2-12.
Oh,
And it did get to a certain point in the week where I was like, all right, I'm not going to make it into the top four. I'm not going to win the soul, but even last place gets more dimes than you would finishing first in the free league. So I started to experiment a little bit with some lineups. It didn't work, but I'm in free league this week, and I'm starting off with all wins. So it's looking good.
you love to
What
see it. You
about
love to
you?
see it.
You did free last week, right? And
I had a heartbreaking week last week. I was this close to making it into competitive. And
okay.
just the way that the RP worked out the end of it, I missed the cutoff by, I think, 4 RP.
Ooh,
So slowly crawling my way back up there.
yeah.
But this week, still in free, a few changes.
Sure.
So we both started we call them our G League teams.
Yep.
Basically just a farm team for both of us. And I know for myself, I wanted to do some experimentation around just cost-effective builds
Sure.
and to see where that went. So I took some players from my existing team that weren't being actively played, pushed them down, supplemented that by buying, I believe, 2 to 3 players, and
Okay.
saw some really cool, good performance. I started off 2-0 in the practice league and then was put into intermediate, I believe. I'll have to double check
Okay.
that. And in doing so, I guess right before the start of this league, I took my best performers and I pushed them up, promoted them to my main team. And now my
Right.
G League team is just getting absolutely dunked on. I lost a game by 45 yesterday or this morning. I don't even remember. I blacked it out. It was so bad.
Yeah, and you can never speak of it ever again.
Never again. So this is chat. This is the last time you're going to hear of it. But the important thing is I'm not too heartbroken about it because I took my best
Yeah.
players up, replaced them with kind of filler players with the hope of just expanding my dimes accumulation week over week. So
Right.
I have excess players. I know you have excess players, and just kind of, hey, let's take these players, let's fill in some gaps, let's make the most of our dimes. We'll talk about why we're doing that later, but I want to hear more about your G League team, kind of your process behind that and what that looked like.
Yeah. So it got to the point where I had, I think, like 16 players. And obviously the box office came out, which is a huge deal when you have that many players because they were all sitting there. They were sitting on my bench. I wasn't even using half of them. I wasn't using more than half of them. I have my main players, which is I think something that your core team, your starters, right? Everybody talks about it. And then I have the players that I switch in and out dependent on who I'm playing, if they're predictable, whatever. But I had so many players who were just sitting there sidelined. And you're losing out on dimes. You know what I mean? Like there's no use for them sitting there. And I didn't want to sell them because I mean, look, the market's rough right now. There's not a lot of quality out there. And I didn't want to have to, sell them cheaper than I bought them, whatever. So kind of like you're saying, it's just a farm for me. I took my weaker team, my weaker squad, and I threw them on a new team, and hopefully they'll get me some dimes this week. I will say, I did put Jesus Moneyball Ortiz on my G League, simply because like I have better centers now. I have better center and better power forward now. And he has been MVP 3 games in a row. So he has risen from the dead, and he is making an epic comeback.
I'm just happy the legend that is Jesus Moneyball Ortiz lives on.
Yeah,
That's
I
all.
think we
That's all I
all.
really want. You bring up some good points there, talking about your G League team. You know, maximizing dimes. The market is
Yeah,
a little tough right now. Things that are good out there, I feel like, are selling super quick.
sure.
And the one thing that I kind of do with my team, I'm not sure if you do this. We haven't really talked about this much, but I have a separate not stat sheet, but kind of my overall VBA P&L sheet. So, did I buy a pack for a player reroll? What did that cost? All of my player prices. What do I need to sell them at to get a profit? Did
Yeah,
I win anything in the box office? So it's basically accounting for all of my expenses and gains in VBA and looking at, what is my average return on player? What do I need to sell
sure.
players for? And just helping me kind of optimize those decisions. And so
Right.
I'm now with this G League team added a whole nother dimension of, optimizing dimes for marketplace, because that's an opportunity for the box office for returns,
Sure.
or do I go ahead and sell? So
Yeah.
very, very interesting. We'll talk about the box
That's
office more in a minute.
Yeah, that's interesting though, and I do think that that's important to do. I'm curious. I wonder if like, I saw B Town. I saw you in here earlier. I don't know if you're here. Like, I wonder if B Town or Smup or like Zoskin, like these players who have these guys, GMs who have like 100 plus like players or whatever. Like, I wonder if they keep track of that. I personally don't. I probably should. But I'm not gonna lie. Like, I the soul that I have in the game right now, like I've talked to you about this, I'm fortunate enough that I get a lot of the soul that my hobby funds my hobby, right? I do a
Yeah.
lot of branding for like Zed Run people, and more often than not, I take that ETH and it's going right into soul for this. So it's kind of like funding me here almost, but I should start to do that because that's like a really responsible thing to do. And it's good to know what you're putting in and what you're getting out of it, especially now with the box office. Which, hey, I know you hit your first raffle win.
I got lucky. I like it because for me it adds a whole nother layer of being a, quote unquote GM
Sure,
and
yeah, it
looking at,
does.
the makeup, the cost of the team. Is it worth, spending that extra soul to try and get this player? What's the potential resale
Yeah,
like if it doesn't pan out? Just tons of
sure.
different factors and layers.
Yeah, maybe I'll set that up. You know, as soon as I can. That's interesting. Yeah,
All right, let's head over to the board and get started with our first segment of the night, the tip-off. The first thing I want to talk about tonight was this cryptic tweet that came out with a nice silhouette, which ended
yeah,
up revealing that John Woo is now the commissioner of VBA. So big congrats
yeah,
to John Woo.
definitely.
But we talked about the silhouette right before stream, and I had a picture up just because I was confirming some things, and you kind of made that connection. I was like, oh yeah, I totally see that, because I had
Yeah.
the thought that it looked like someone, but then I just kind of forgot about it, and then you brought it up, so I'm gonna give you the credit on this one. But who did you say it looked like?
I mean, it looks like it might be Adam Silver.
I
I mean,
agree. I don't have, unfortunately, the actual picture handy. I might have to pull that up
yeah, I'm
on my
curious.
other browser.
And I wouldn't have thought about that, but only the caption is, every league has one, and then obviously we found out that they announced John as the commissioner. Um, it
Very,
looks
very big
pretty
deal.
bald to me.
Very bald. I can't find
Yeah,
the picture on Twitter, but there's the official announcement. John Woo named VBA commissioner. Today, the Virtual Basketball Association officially announces appointment of John Woo as commissioner. Statement from
yep,
Commissioner J. The VBA is poised to be the future of sports. I'm proud to serve as commissioner and will work tirelessly to serve our community of GMs. Let's ball. You know, I will say, now that we have a commissioner, I hope the reffing stays fair. I just watched on Netflix about the whole big scandal where the guy had some issues with maybe or maybe not fixing games and is no
Yeah.
longer reffing. So I'm gonna have my eye out on these refs, John Woo.
What is that? The flagrant foul thing,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I heard about that, but I haven't watched it yet.
It was good. I liked it a lot. Oh, here we go. Here's a picture. I've got a picture we can throw up. Boom. And
Wait,
yeah,
where did you get that? Where did that come from?
so that's John Woo's profile picture now.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I gotta look at Adam Silver. He has glasses, but that looks like Adam
It
Silver.
kind of does, right? It kind of
A
does.
little younger, but I could see it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's funny. I like that.
All right. So next thing I want to talk about, which you already kind of hinted at a little bit and discussed, but the box office.
Yeah.
So it is up, it is live. We have a variety of different things. So you can get sole underdog players, random players.
Oh yeah.
Some of these are selling out pretty quick. Some of them
I
not so
know.
much.
But you know what? I track them. So I entered one
Mhm.
and I instantly regretted it. I entered one and I put in like, it was the first day they announced it and I was like, this is sick. Like I'm so hype on it. And I think I did like 10 in each or whatever. And then I was like, what am I doing? I should wait until I have like 100 and just throw them into one. You know what I mean? And I've been trying to watch to see if any of them are like, like that one right there. There, it's like 343 left out of 350. Like, if
Yeah.
it gets down to like 4 minutes left and that's all that's in there, I'm like, I'm gonna throw in everything I have, just to maximize my potential win. But yeah, that first day I put like 10 dimes in each raffle that was there, and then I came in to check and it was like, you didn't win anything, and I was like, well, no shit. There's like 1,000 tickets being drawn. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's totally a numbers game. And I think it's like just a time of just stacking up. So my strategy was, I have my two teams. I had a total of 86 dimes between both of them. And I looked at this one soul drawing, only 350 entries. And I threw all 86 into out of a 350 entry. So, I mean, that's.
Do you know if it sold out?
I don't think it did. I can confirm that real quick.
I mean, that's like, I just did the math quick. It's just about 25%. It's right under it.
Yeah, so I had 84 out of 337 tickets. So yeah, just under 25% of the tickets. So I said, you know what? There's no value to dimes, and we've talked about dimes in the past. It is not a currency, and I think this
Which
makes
is so awesome.
I think this makes a really great case for that. Like, it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
This utility provides value for it. And yeah, I'm going to throw my dimes at that. And I got lucky at my 25% and I won. So I am over the moon. So happy. I claimed, I talked about this in a chat with some other people the other day. If you win paid league or anything in the box office, you don't get it automatically. You have to go redeem it or claim it. So be sure you do that. You go to your profile. There's a redeem section at the bottom. Make sure you do that.
Yeah, B-Town is saying the player drawings are going so fast. And I swear, I woke up the other day and I wake up and I'm like laying there and I go on Discord and I saw someone be like, oh, there's another player drawing up. And I was like, sick. And I got up, I like got ready for the day. I logged back on and it was sold out. And I remember typing in the chat and being like, yeah, does anybody know what's up with the player drawing? It's blacked out. And someone was like, it's sold out. And then I realized it literally says like 0 tickets remaining. And I was like, holy crap, that went so fast.
Yeah. They are flying off the shelf. This is something go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I don't think this has been released, but have they shown which players have been given out as those random drawings?
I don't think so. I'm not too sure.
I'm so curious about that. John Lee, I see you in here. let's get that thrown in the Discord or
I
something.
think
I
it
feel
follows the distribution of the player rarity. So I think it's what, like a 1% chance of getting a
oh,
legendary.
interesting.
I think I could be wrong.
Yeah, see,
Um,
I was just thinking someone picks it, you know what I mean?
yeah. So B Town
Mm,
was talking today, this morning, about i- is it okay to just throw all of your dimes? So let's say I have 350 dimes accumulated. I see this
yeah.
343 out of 50 remaining. I'm throwing 343 dimes in there. Is that cool? Is that fine? Is that okay?
Like, morally versus, like,
Yeah.
like, ethically,
Like
I
obviously
mean,
you can do it.
yeah, I mean, look, like, I get it. I get the people who would say, like, "No, give everybody a chance." But I'm not here to give it like, I'm not entering to give everybody else a chance, I'm entering to maximize my chance of winning. I
Right.
see it, I don't know, it does feel dirty, like, I see what John Lee is saying, and I did see, like, B-Town saying, he felt dirty, it feels dirty. I think I don't know. I haven't had the opportunity to do it, but that's what I'm working towards. So, I'm not dirty yet, but I plan on being dirty. But
I
I
guess
see it, and I think it depends also because there are people who have, like, 50 teams, and, like, it's a lot easier for someone like that to do, um, to throw you have, like, what if you only have 10 dimes on each team in your wallet, and then you throw them all in on one, like, you could fill up the 500 one, you know what I mean? And I think that might feel or come off a little bit dirtier than, like, you work your ass off on one team, which is what I'm doing, like, I'm working my ass off, I'm checking lineups, I'm setting lineups, I'm buying new players, like, and I'm waiting, like, 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then I'm gonna get real dirty and try and fill up a raffle. But I don't know. What's your take?
I'm all for being dirty. I'm, as
Yeah,
Cubes put it, first degree dirtiness. If you have them, cool. And
yeah,
if I mean, it's hard to like cap it to get away from that. So either one, you've got an amazing team, or two, you have tons of teams, and again, you're just putting 10 in from all of your teams. You can't really cap it or prevent it just because of the nature of the way wallets are set up, in my
yeah,
opinion. So
yeah,
I don't see a problem with it because at least right now, and this is obviously subject to change, but just with how quickly these are coming through, I think
sure.
just there's enough frequency, just anecdotally, for people
Which is
to
awesome.
be able to go in and have a chance. Like I put in all of
Yeah,
my 86, I'm going to be out for a few weeks now. It's not
yeah,
something that
exactly.
recharges in a day. So I'm going to be out for a few
Yeah,
weeks. I think most people will be out for a few weeks if they did something similar. So I think it's just going to come and go in waves, and you've just got to find your spot and what makes sense for you.
yeah, and I think that's a good way to put it. Is like you got to find your spot. And also, Gigaman has a good point in chat too. Is like we still don't know what else they're going to throw in there.
Absolutely.
I do like I like that the player drawing is 500. Let me double check before I say what I'm about to say. Let me hop in the box office. And yeah, like there's an underdog right now. It says, it doesn't say one random player, it says one underdog. It's 350 tickets. I like that the 10 soul was like, 10,000. I think they're doing a good job balancing like the potential entrance versus the prize. And we talked about this really early on. Where like, I think the first image we got of the box office, it said like all of the prizes, it had infinity for the entrance. And I'm so happy they didn't do that. I think this is amazing utility. And I'm so happy that dimes are not an actual cryptocurrency, at least for now. Like, I think this is great how it is. I'm still waiting to see the results of that survey that everybody filled out, because I'm so curious how many people were like, I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing this because I love basketball and I'm a nerd.
Yeah. I'm excited for that survey too. I hope those results get released. And I think you
Yeah.
kind of hit on it there. Like that is the key to keeping this sustainable, is adjusting those numbers based off
Yeah.
of, their treasury. How much soul could they give out? And then
Mm,
adjusting the tickets for that.
yeah.
Just to get more people again involved and try and stimulate actions. I think like for this to be successful long term, it has to encourage and get people excited to play,
Yeah.
to make playing worthwhile to a degree, not
Right.
necessarily profitable.
Yep.
And yeah, I think just fluctuating the total amount of tickets is really key here to this. So we'll see what
Yeah. And
happens. The team has done a great job so far with things, and who knows?
yeah. I'm curious when like merch is gonna pop up in there, or
Oh
like,
shit, I forgot about that.
it'd be hard to do like a flash sale sort of deal because obviously there's so many players like all over the world, time zones, stuff like that. But I'm curious if that will ever be a thing where it's like, they're putting in like a 2 hour drawing where it's like 50 tickets or something like that. Will be interesting to see how it evolves, but for like a not an alpha, but like an early version or V1 of the box office, it's 10 out of 10 so far.
100%. 10 out of 10,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
J-Till brings up a really cool point.
Yeah.
I think an important reminder we want to continue to make is box office isn't going to be the only distribution of rewards. Other incentives, events, etc. are in the plans, which is super, super exciting. Ooh, a 6'9" wants a VBA headband. I do too. I want a hoodie and a headband. That would be.
I need a shooting sleeve.
I was just about to say that.
I will gladly admit I said last week that like when I was younger I wanted to be Allen Iverson. I straight up like learned to play basketball with like a shooting sleeve and a stupid headband and like had no hair, you know what I mean? Like I was
I
all
love
about
that.
the Allen Iverson look.
You might have to dig up a picture of that. Please tell me you have one somewhere.
I'm sure I'll find one.
All right, let's move on to our next segment of the night, being our game of the week. So this week, I think you picked an awesome game, being Not My Second Team versus Let's Forking Cook. What a great name. I love Let's
Yeah.
Forking Cook.
Yeah.
And this was a very interesting game. This is another Rec League pick. And let's
Mhm.
go ahead. Let's dive into the results and see what we have here. Just an
Yeah.
absolute bloodbath of a game. 84-81. You don't quite see it here, but look at the box score quarter by quarter. 28
Yeah.
over or 20 over 18, 23 over 22, 25-25, 17-15.
And and honestly, like hopped in the Discord earlier and I was like, who had a good game this week? Who had a close game? And I think it was Kenny. Was it like Kenny G? I think is his username on there, his Discord name was like, look how close this game was. And I started looking into it. I was looking at the game flow, and I told you earlier, I zoomed in and I was trying to count the lead changes. I think there was like close to 20 lead changes in it. It was a crazy game.
Yeah, look at this game flow, chat. You brought that up too when you were talking about it. Like that is just
Yeah.
absolutely insane. If I am not my second team at this moment, when I see this start to go flat, I'm having the biggest panic attack and just screaming at my computer.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely wild game. In yeah, like nothing too crazy stat wise that was like, oh my god, you did something. Yeah, some players look like they were pretty efficient, others not so much, but just
Yeah.
super, super, super close. Let's Forking
Yeah.
Cook severely out rebounded the other team though.
Yeah. I was looking at that. Yeah, rebounds and assists too, which is also, I know we've talked about that on the show before. It's like, do you actually need assists to win or not?
That is a great question. Apparently, maybe in this example, it might have helped. I think
Yeah.
assists matter to a degree. I think B-Town
Right.
also mentioned this a little bit this morning. It depends on your just shot hierarchy. Do you have a lot of people that are going to be shooting on your team? Like that, I view that anecdotally as, okay, I have a lot of shooters. I need a lot of assists to feed them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just going to be kind of a mess. Great question in chat from B-Town. We're going to hit that at the end of our stream during a team talk, but I'm going to set that aside, B-Town. Thank you. All right, so this is our game of the week. Absolutely insane. Congrats to Let's Fork and Cook for both having a great name and for the very close win. I also love the name Obi-Thrawn. That's just incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Huge Star Wars fan. Okay, so now let's talk about our free agent finds. So before we give our picks of the week, I want to talk about, and again, you brought this up, thankfully, for the reminder. I appreciate it. But John Woo's pick last week got picked up by Keith.
John Lee.
John Lee, thank you.
It might have even been Charles. I think it was John. I don't remember.
Okay. And so on the Crimson Ballers, if we look at career averages, doing okay. So points down a little bit, but field goal percent is up significantly, but only 2 games before he was on C. Soskin's team.
Yeah.
3-point is close. Free throw down a bit, but again, only taking, 1 to 3 shots. Rebounds up a little bit. Assists down slightly. Blocks kind of negligible. Steals up. And it's some flat things. So it just seems the biggest takeaway I have right now, more efficient shooter, but I'm happy to see that VBA player 11507 is getting more playtime. Keith, if you watch this, please name your player. I am begging you, please name your player.
And, it's also, I want to say that while he's got those averages, it's only because of that. There's an 8-point game, a 10-point game, a 13-point game, but like his last 2 games, he was 12 for 21, shot 57%, 27 points, and then 80% and put up 29 points. Like, it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's only like 10 games in. Who knows what'll happen once he hits 20 or more. Hopefully those numbers go up, but that was a good pickup. If anybody else in chat has ever bought one of the free agent finds, let us know. I think it's fun to follow up and see how they're doing.
So 2 of his 3 struggling games were against defensive guards.
Yeah, I noticed that. And the weird thing, that 8-point game, I think was just a bad game for him. It was against a shooting playmaker, if I believe.
Yeah, you are correct. Shooting playmaker.
Yeah, and it was just a bad game. And there's variance. That's an example right there.
Absolutely. So very, very interesting. Very cool. Thank you for bringing that back up. I'm glad we got to take a look at this. Keith, please name your players. I'm begging you. All right, we'll get through these. And then, so moving on to my pick.
Yeah.
Here we go. My pick is a player named Point Forward. Surprisingly, they're a shooting guard, small forward. Point forward. So for this player at 3.2, that's a little higher than I would normally like to go for a free agent find. However, what really drew me to this player is that there's another dual position, and this is an underdog special on the market, has 1 season of experience versus 8. But that special is going for 6.5. I think I have them up. Yeah, I do. Right here. For 6.5 soul. So if you look at points, more points, slightly fewer rebounds, but very close. Fewer assists, but a much more efficient shooter. 47% versus 54%. And for near similar performance, across both positions, there are certain things like, turnovers are a little bit better for the special in terms of committing more turnovers, or sorry, fewer turnovers. Rebounds, again, difference. Slightly assists, slightly different. But for the price, 3.2 versus 6.5, I'm taking this at 3.2 for the value almost every single time, 9 times out of 10.
Sure.
And I just it's a little high, but pretty solid. Yeah, if we look at John Lee's at 3%, so overall career 28.6 and career 33, so slightly better there too. So I think it's a solid shooter, great true shooting percent for the position. Not the lowest of prices, but I think comparatively, and I don't mean to dump on anyone's player pricing, but underdog versus special, I'm going to take this underdog every time. What do we have this week for your free agent find?
Well, I might be about to switch it up
Again. Dun, dun, dun. Golden Glow Master says, I'm just waiting for this to have some gameplay footage. I'm sorry, but you may be waiting a while. That's long off.
Yeah, we had the team has confirmed that it's not really a priority right now. But maybe down the line, it'd be interesting to see how they pull that off. I imagine the next iteration would be closer to the like ESPN Sportscast, where you just see the dots for the NBA players, but I have no clue about programming. That might be a nightmare. Okay. Two things. First of all, John Lee saying Mr. Barcode 11507 is really incredible. And my free agent find, I'm going to go with 5363. It is a special small forward, power forward, versatile forward.
And what do you like in here?
I am liking, I've been doing a lot of searching for defensive positions, versatile forwards, rim protectors, maybe like, a stretch big. If anybody is watching and wants to sell me one at a decent price, please let me know. But when I was looking at versatile forwards, this one kind of drew me in today. I don't think I'm going to pull the trigger, or I probably would have done so before this. But, first of all, he's got 1 season of experience, which right away should make him slightly more valuable, in my opinion, to some at least. And then let me pull up my average notes here.
I want to see seasons I want to see seasons of experience drive pricing more than rarity at this point.
I agree. As soon as we get that announcement about seasons of experience, we will. But I think rarity is still, there's a premium on certain players, and I just, more often than not, I'll just find a better, or special, or underdog. But I'm not saying rarity doesn't matter. I think it will, which was also one of the reasons I chose this player, because it is a special and it is cheaper than some of the underdogs and other specials listed. But he's above average in points. He's slightly, like literally 1% under average for field goal. I like the rebounds he's got is above average. Assists is a little under. Turnovers is slightly above, but it's a good buy for me, I think, because the price, the general stats, nothing. I don't see a single stat where I'm like, this is absolute doo-doo. It's like so under average that no one should ever buy it. Points against, let me look at the point differential real quick. I did not write that down. What is this? 5363. It looks like Oh, so many numbers. Um, yeah, yeah, is it's decent. Um,
Positive. Is he positive?
yeah, yeah. It's not incredible, but it's positive.
Take it.
But
Positive is
yeah, I just
positive.
thought, compared to what else is out there, it looked like a good buy to me. There's not a lot of VFs listed right now. There's not a lot of quality in general listed from what I was seeing, but one, two, three, four. I'm only seeing 13 listed, and this is as a an hour ago before we started. So maybe that's changed, but yeah, quality wise, looks like a good free agent.
Nice. I like it. I like it. And again, I
Yeah,
think value for the rarity there and seasons of
yep,
experience that gets me excited.
yeah,
I've seen some players that are like, oh, I kind of like that. That could be maybe good G League. See what happens.
yeah,
And I'll look at seasons of experience, and it's 9, and then I just pump the brakes,
yeah.
back off a little bit, and it's really starting to factor more and more into my decision making.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, I mean, it's been a week since I started looking for a one of those defenders, and there have been some really solid ones sent to me. And every time I look, it's like 8 seasons, 9 seasons, and I don't think there is anything wrong with buying those. But like I'm getting wins right now. I'm not like, super desperate for it. So I'm waiting for that one that I do really want to pop up. And I'm hoping when it does, it's got lower seasons of experience.
Seasons of experience, like 8 to 9 range, it's like burnt toast. Yeah, I'm going to eat it, but it's not as great as a perfectly toasted piece of toast.
Sure. Yeah.
That's, yeah, burnt
I like
toast.
that.
Done. I'm going to start calling all of them burnt toast. Maybe I'll start a
Yeah.
burnt toast team.
There we
Watch
go.
out. All right, let's shift gears once again into Around the Horn. Today, we are going to be talking about very exciting things, our giveaways. So,
Yeah.
last week, we gave away a player, and that player is. Oh, shoot, this is Kirk's. I've got to swap that back out. Do you have the
The player we gave
number
away
on
last week,
hand? Yeah, I can
I
look it up
do.
quick.
Hold on.
1633.
Yeah, there we go.
Sorry about that, chat. Okay, we are up. Midas Touch. Love the name with the golden fro. Oh, that is Chef's Kiss to Crypto Brojo.
Yeah, that's a good name.
That is fantastic naming. He needs an award for name of the year. That's beautiful. I love that. Midas Touch with the gold hair. So how is Midas doing? So 17.4 points on average, 5.3 rebounds, 6.7 assists, field goal percent at 48.3 across 10 games so far. Looking pretty solid. I see a 10-point game in there, 2 10-point games, but overall pretty decent. Had a 66.7 3-point game. What is his 3-point percent? Oh, 35. Kind of bouncing around a little bit, but again, happy to see he's being used, and seems
Yep.
like kind of a solid all-arounder for being a underdog dual position. One thing I didn't look up, that maybe we can do that in the future, but I want to see how often he's been used at small forward versus power forward. I like that combo a lot, and it's not something I necessarily see much on the market. So very, very cool. Any thoughts on Midas Touch?
I am pulling up those numbers right now. So it looks like I think he's only been used at small forward right now. How many
Interesting.
games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Only small forward games. So
Hmm.
I also would be curious to see if he's played at point forward, how he does. One thing before we move along, this is totally random. But one thing I have been doing a lot more this week for the first time, like literally the first time, I've started playing certain players out of position a little bit. I was always scared to do it, right? And then I started playing pure center at PF, or vice versa, or like putting a PF down at small forward. I even have a pass first guard who I never played at shooting guard, um, and he's been crushing it there. So I've been doing that, and it gives me so much more flexibility with my lineups when you can do that and it's done successfully.
Interesting. I'd be curious to see how that pans out. We'll have to do kind of might have to turn that into a segment going forward, but
Yeah,
very
that'd
nice.
be
Glad to hear it's
interesting.
working out.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. I've tried it a few times. It did not work out well, but I think there's more to it than just.
Yeah.
I didn't have the full strategy behind it, so I'm gonna chalk that up as an L on me.
There you go.
So this was last week's giveaway. Well, we have another giveaway, again, partnering with VBA. This was a Twitter giveaway. So even if you aren't in chat, you are still eligible to get this. And we're going to give you a little bit of time to enter in this giveaway. So to enter, this is for VBA player 3614. It's an underdog center, playmaking big. 7 seasons of experience. You don't have to worry. It's not burnt toast. We'll get to the drawing in a minute, but I just want to share the link with chat. So have to go to that tweet, follow VBA Game, NBA Gaming Network, and Prospect Huddle. Comment your name, and you are entered. That's all you have to do. We'll be doing this in a few minutes here. I think we'll circle to our team chat before coming back, but we'll do this drawing at the end of the night. So please go ahead, retweet this. We had some great name submissions. You want to run through some of these quick? I think some of these are hilarious.
And, more on a housekeeping note that we should have discussed before stream, but we did not. I have that set up, and I can choose the winner for that.
Oh, you do? Fantastic.
Unless you have a tool set up, then you can do it, but we can figure that out.
Yeah, I've got it. I want to keep it on stream just for transparency's sake.
Love it. Perfect. There were a lot of really good names.
I think we can just stop here with this one. I think that this is really, the most important one. I like that it's nice and at the top. Shout out Papusa Joe for wanting the name to be MJ Goat. And then Joshua Morris came in at the Face Jam. And I can't unsee this now. He called it the Bat Beard. And you look at the beard, it looks like here's a bat wing, and then this is the bat. And I can't unsee the bat beard. I can't, it's just staring me down. Like that bat is ready to fly off of his face into the opponent.
That's a good one. I don't know how I missed this. When was this posted? Oh, it was an hour ago. Bamontes posted and said Matt Geiger, and then shouted me out and said, I'm appealing to the Sixers fan and you make it happen. Matt Geiger was a Sixers player.
There we go.
I think in for 2 seasons in the late 90s. I'm pretty sure he played with Allen Iverson in his last year.
I could see that. Jersey looks familiar.
Yeah, he looks exactly like him though. That's funny.
He really, really does. I like the barbed wire tattoo as well.
Yeah.
Some other fun submissions. LeBron James receding hairline.
Sure.
Chops McGee.
The Taxter said Raul, which I really like because I'm a big fan of just a name. You know what I mean? Like just give him a name.
Just simple name. Will Bolton. Yeah. That was a good one. Donkey Teeth. Shout out to Zed Diamond Hands. Good job, Keith. Keith, you have a name for this player. Name your other players, please. Bill Garrett says B-Town. One of the most important figures of the history of college basketball. Ellie Peak. Like that. Remy says Fly Forklift banner. Big and bald. I like that. Dougie McBuckets, Clyde O'Neal, Shamar Moore.
Jason Wright said Chops McGee, which I thought was a good one.
I like that.
Yeah.
The Goat Curry, the
I'm pretty
Bald
sure
Nightmare Henry.
the last player I bought, I tried to name him Carl, and it was taken, and I was like, oh, bummer. And then I was like, oh, no, no shit. Like, obviously, someone named their player Carl.
Kenny Stevenson with this dude's name is Abner Tremont. Tremont. Love that. Matt Geiger. There it is. Larry David. Hank Scalabrine. Barber Shavy. Ball is Life. Slim Robinson. Bald Gasol. I really like that. Obi-Wan Kano Buckets.
That's good.
Ted
Except you would
Stickles.
want buckets. Could get buckets.
Joe Leonidas Jerome. Lee Scratch Perry. Fred Monovich. Larry Sanders. And then Raul. And Woos Brillis. Can't forget Superman with Woos Brillis.
Yeah.
Great names. Thank you, everyone who participated in that. Well, I think we gave them enough time. Let's go ahead. Let's pick our winner. You ready to do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, big shout out. B-Town here said that Bill Garrett helped break the color barrier in college hoops in the 1950s. That's incredible. That's awesome.
Yeah, I saw that come through, and I did not know about that. I'm not familiar with Bill Garrett, but I did copy and paste the name into Google. I'm going to read up about that later. That's interesting.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Very, very cool. Yeah. Love the name. All right, so chat, again, trying to do this as transparently as possible. For those of you that have been on my streams in the past, I don't think Bert is here, so we are all safe for the time being. So, all right, we have the tweet right here. We're going to load it. Winner count set to 1. Must follow VBA game, MJ Gaming Network, Prospect Huddle. You don't have to have a profile picture, description, banner, location, tweet count, any, account age, any, latest tweet, any. Want to try and keep this as open as possible for everyone. And then so we'll go on to step 2 here. You can see a list. Obviously, if Virtual Basketball Association, or a member of the team wins, we may revoke that. Obviously, also, we are not included. And so 33 entries loaded, 100%.
Nice.
And we are going to draw. All right, chat, here we go. The big moment we've all been waiting for.
Remy.
Probably
Remy saying Reed is going to win.
All right, and our winner is... Oh, man, the suspense. It's creating the draw. Tasty Gamer Boy 42. Congratulations.
Nice. Here, let me take note of that.
Tasty Gamer. Let's see what the name submission was. Well, let's confirm there was a name submission. First of all, because that was part of it.
Yeah.
That was part. Here we go. Weirdly looks like Curry, but older and bigger built. So maybe like Sage the Goat Curry or something similar. Congratulations, Tasty Gamer Boy. You have won. Thank you to VBA.
Tweet at them.
Awesome.
We'll tweet them right now.
Oh, I can tweet them right from the giveaway.
Yeah.
Boom.
Perfect.
All right. We'll reach out to you, Tasty Gamer Boy. Congratulations on your big victory. Thank you, VBA, for your support on that and providing that player. We will get that out to you ASAP. All right, so let's head back and let's talk about team chat. It's team chat time. Say that 5 times fast. I can't talk tonight. Team chat time. Team talk.
That's a tough one.
Team talk time. That's even worse. 3 T's. So we had a question from chat. If you have questions about just strategies, play to earn, future, hypotheticals, tips, anything you want to know, now was the time to ask them. If we missed a question from earlier, please let us know. But we had a question earlier that I want to hit
Yep.
from B Town, which I thought was a just brilliant question. B Town says, I'm curious to know what you guys think are the biggest lessons VBA should learn from games like Zedrun, Axie Infinity, etc.
Hmm.
Do you want to start? You want me to go first?
Um, why don't you start on this one? I
All
have
right.
some opinions, but I think the word lessons is a really big one for me, and I think you might have a better answer when it comes to that.
Sure. Some of these things may not be purely lessons, more observations. Don't want to throw anyone under the bus too hard here,
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
but and this might be a while. I'll try and keep it somewhat short. So some things that come to mind. One are communication. So communication around successes, updates, delays, changes, and then give a why behind it. So your community can understand your thought process, your vision, and ultimately where you want to take the project. So I think
Hmm.
communication just across all different types of channels. So, and by that I mean game updates, promotional, tech updates, bugs. And I just think being incredibly transparent about that is important.
Yeah.
I think the team is doing a very good job of that right now. Something else I would add is just long term sustainability. And so, how do you address that? And I think one, it's very hard to do because obviously you can't predict the future. But I'm going to go back to my favorite word, utility, and my definition of utility, which is, what is the motivation for movement? What is the motivation to buy and sell players? What is the motivation to play games? What is the motivation to be a part of this ecosystem? And you have to create, for longevity, in my opinion, you have to create different avenues for different types of players. So, for example, maybe putting out the ability to create your own custom designer logo would appeal to people who are really into art and design, like yourself. People who are trying to, optimize and reduce their overall losses, like I was doing with my chart of all of my player acquisition costs. I might be more interested in the soul just to try and, keep my losses down.
Hmm.
I you have people who want to go after players to try and build out the best squad. Like, I think that's really cool. I think things like achievements, awards, go after people who are just grinding to try and, get the best or have the best, have their name up, in the trophy case, so to speak, I think is really important. And then the other thing you have to do is just really look at it for longevity, so that utility, but then really look at the economics of your game. And that sounds silly and is so broad. And I know dimes aren't a token, but just having insight into average amount of players that are in the game. So teams, how many GMs are here? How many dimes are they accumulating? What are those dimes being used on? Are they being held? What percent of the box office raffles are being filled? And just being super cognizant of those things, I think, is really going to go a long way to long-term success in the game. So those would be two things that I would, I guess I'll say, lessons, and things that I've heard and or experienced. I don't have experience with Axie, but I've read up about it a decent amount, and kind of that's what I would say.
Yeah, I mean I agree. I think those are good points to hit on. I also, I think the team is doing a good job of a lot of some of that, or has plans to do things in the future. It's definitely early to, you know, re restate that it's extremely early in the game's life and the team is doing an amazing job. Um, for me, one thing that I have seen across multiple other games is is not rushing to do things just to do it, or just because they said they were going to do it in, a roadmap or something like that. Um, you know, without pointing fingers and stuff, it's really big to me that the dimes are just dimes right now. They're not on chain. It's just the in-game currency. I don't see a need for it to be anything more than that. I don't. It doesn't need to be an actual cryptocurrency. It doesn't need to have a worth aside from what it is right now. Not they didn't rush to release the box office because they said it was coming soon. They got it right on the first release, in my opinion. And they're starting small and they're going to build from there, which they've said they're going to do. It's season zero, and even thinking about when Charles and John were on last week, and we asked about the seasons, and they were like, "We don't have a timeline. Season one will come when we're ready for season one," and I think that's really huge. I think too many games and projects out there on the play to earn, play and earn. I think they release these roadmaps and then they under deliver. Um, and I don't think this team has been doing that, and I don't really see that they will be doing that at all. Um, so yeah, I think those are the big things for me, building on the communication, because I do think the team is doing an awesome job with that. And hopefully we'll continue to get that. Like we've touched on those survey results. I think everybody would love to see those quantified, and seeing like which players have been given out in these random player giveaways through the box office, stuff like that. But yeah, I think those are the big points for me.
Like it. I like it. I think that was very, very well said. Team, keep up the great work. We appreciate you.
Yeah, yeah.
Got another question in chat from B Town. What playstyle do you guys feel you personally have underrated the most in your roster building and lineup setting? I'm going to say that I do things a little untraditionally, I think, in that I really look at a giant matrix of stats and try and identify gaps and opportunities, and kind of plug that in what I think could work. That being said, translating that out to play styles, I'd say I kind of missed the boat on point forward. I like in small forward and shooting guard position. I think I sold one of my point forwards too early and didn't realize the full extent of their potential. I'm not saying it would have been great or worked out, but I think that in those positions, I tend to like the idea of a point forward, and yeah, it's something I'd say probably my two weakest positions right now: shooting guard and small forward.
Sure. Yeah, it's tough. You really can't go back and look at the players you've sold. I know we talked about this the other night too. It's like I look at the players I've sold and I'm like, shit, what was I thinking? Like there was a good player. Also, for everybody in chat who is listening to this now or in the future and heard MJ talk about how he does things a little untraditionally and looks at a whole matrix of stuff, I have seen the matrix. It is a lot of stuff that he looks at. But for me, I definitely think, I benefit from some of the stuff that MJ looks at, and get the insight there. But, B Town, like we were talking earlier, I know for a fact my most underestimated or underrated, I guess, is all of the defensive positions. I do have two defensive guards who I don't play that often, who I think are pretty decent. But I don't play them just because, like, I can't really see what goes on in the background there, and I'd rather have the players with the points or with the assists that I'm getting. But I have been shut down way too many times by VFs or by rim protectors, or even like a stretch big. And thinking about like, you know, a stretch big is important because they're leaving the paint versus like playing with like I constantly play with two point scoring bigs. Like I understand that that clogs up the lane a little bit, and that points might go down because of that. But yeah, I definitely think for me it's all of the defensive positions, and I am trying to get them on my team. So we'll see how that goes.
I'll agree with you on that as well, and that
Yeah,
I'm gonna make you outshoot me, and I'm gonna make you outscore me kind of team for the
sure.
most part right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So we'll see what the future holds. But great question, B Town. I appreciate that a lot.
Mhm.
Both of them were absolutely fantastic. Chat, we'll go a few more seconds, minutes. If you have anything else, please let us know. How are you feeling about the rest of the week? You said you're undefeated so far.
I lied. I had one loss. Oh no, I didn't lie. It was well, my G League team had one loss. My A team is undefeated through 3 games. But um I feel good. I think between like splitting my team up, getting that G League team going, clearing up my roster a little bit, experimenting with players out of position a little bit and seeing who can and can't do what. Um, I mean, I went 2-12 last week, and I'm 3-0 right now. So like, I feel good for now
Love
until
it.
I go 3-11 or whatever. But we'll see what happens.
Well, best of luck. If
Yeah,
I'm feeling a little, I don't know, a little silly right now. If my G League team
yeah.
loses by more than 40 points, so 41, I will give away a player on stream next week.
Is that just until next week?
Until next week, just until next week.
Okay, I like it.
We get another question from B Town. Who are your team MVPs so far? Well, I'm going to answer this for you. It's obviously Jesus Moneyball or Tease.
Yeah, it really was for like a long time. It legitimately was. Um, it's so it's seriously such a game by game thing for me. Um, let me see.
I have a player that I just absolutely love.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's my MVP, but like I don't know. I'm feeling like an emotional bond or attachment to him. And that is, I'll throw him up here. My point guard, Declan Dimes, Danny's brother.
sure.
And he is ID number 4437. Now let's just go back to the board quick. And there we go. So as a pass first guard, you look at this like 8.8 points, 5.1 rebounds, 9.3 assists, 42% field goal. Okay, that's not great for a pass first guard. But before I got him, he was played out of position. Since joining my team,
Yes.
his field goal's down a little bit. 3 points down a little bit, but his let's scroll over here. His free throws up slightly. It's not crazy number of attempts there. Rebounds are the same, but assists went from 7.9 to 19.2. Averaging the same amount of blocks, same amount of steals, and fewer fouls, and slightly fewer turnovers. So I'm getting for what I want him to do on my team, I'm getting good numbers, and I'd like to see the field goal percent up a little bit, but it's an
Yeah.
improvement over his brother, Danny Dimes. And then my other favorite, who I'm don't know if I like him more or not. But that's one of the many now Wallace brothers, Wendell Wallace,
Yeah, I knew it.
2712. Um,
Sure.
he's a special fundamental big power forward and center. And just since playing for me, 60, just under 64% field goal, starting to take some 3-point shots, which he really wasn't doing before. Actually got him from B-Town. And so thank you, B-Town.
That's why he's asking. He knows half of our roster just from
right?
him.
Rebounds, down a little bit, but not too bad. Blocks up, which I like to see. Steals up. Fouls also up. And turnovers about the same. Kind of right in that middle sweet spot. But I'm loving him. Just his field goal percent, his efficiency, and his consistency, I just think is absolutely phenomenal. So I've been a really, really big fan. If I could protect one player, I'm probably going to protect Wendell. Because I feel like I can get other pass first guards. Wendell, special place in my heart. Dual position, special, incredibly efficient. What about you?
Oh, it's tough. I've got 3. I mean, if I'm gonna protect one of them, it's gonna be Jesus. But
Jesus protects you.
Yeah, he does. I have a playmaking big that's a flex PF and center.
What's the ID?
I don't think this is my one, but this is the one I'm talking about is 6'9", 6'1".
6'9", nice.
Yeah, and he's averaging a triple double. And for me, he is also averaging a triple double. He's just clutch. Like he puts up, like 18. He put up like 18 points and shot like 66%. Like he has clutch games, but I don't know if I would call him my MVP. I think my true MVP. I'm looking now. I have 2 players that I only have like 12 games with because I did not play them that often. I always was playing this other player. But let's look at 6621.
Oh,
and I'm choosing him. I'm choosing this center who's a post scoring big over a different post scoring big I have. Who this other dude is a small forward, power forward, and put up 42 points last night. But this guy, Lithis, who I did not name but love the name, he's averaging 61% field goal for me and 24 points. Turnovers are 3.4, which is under the average for post scoring bigs, according to what I have. Everything is above average.
I like the steals and the blocks.
Yeah. The points, could be a little bit more, but he's shooting 60%. I'm not going to complain about it.
Right? Yeah.
He's got some big games. He had a 29-point, a 30-point game. But looking at the last team he played on, he had 18 games for them, and his field goal was 10, just about 10% under where he's at now. So I'm curious to see where he's at when he hits 18 points for me.
Nice.
But I have played him out of position, and he's a good one.
I like it. That's a good pick. That looks like a fun player.
Yeah.
And the name is incredible.
Yes. And that's where we're at.
All right. Well, chat, thank you so much for tonight. We'll be sure to hit that giveaway. Big congrats again to our winner. And we will see you next Wednesday with another episode of VBA Live. Prospect, where can they find you?
Twitter, Discord. That's about it for now.
All right. At prospect_HODL. And then you can find me on Twitter at xmj_gaming x or at MJ Gaming Network. Thank you all to the community. I just cracked 100 followers. Super excited about that. Big
Nice.
things to come. Just